Hello. So today we're going to do a basement tour. There's not a lot that's actually changed, but it's been quite a long time since I've done one. So for all the new people who have subscribed recently or just finding it more recently and don't go back really far, we're going to go ahead and do one. So the first thing I'm going to point out is the steps to the basement. We've got these wood rails right here. And what this is I will slide them a little bit further away from the wall and then put a tote on them full of used Lego and then hold the tote as it walks down the steps. And it basically prevents you having to carry it all the way down the steps. What my plan is actually is to have some friends over and move a quantity of totes. You can see 3 of them right there at the top, down all at once. But generally speaking, I can do it myself. And then these 2 pieces of wood down at the bottom are just basically to prevent these 2 along the stairs from sliding. And they're just braced against the far wall. Now, the one thing I will say is I'm probably going to be putting in a wall right here. Where's my hand? There it is. It's going to continue and it's going to meet up with the wall over here. And then I'll put a couple of double doors through here for access. Right here is a pile of brand new Akr-mils drawer units. There was a sale on Amazon a few weeks ago where the single drawers in any size had been going from like between $42 and $46. And then there was, you could buy one of each, the large drawer and the small drawer, for about $51. And actually that went down to, I think, at one point $49. So I bought a whole bunch of them, as you can see. I actually don't need any right now, but I figure plan for the future. All right, so now here, these double doors have been here all along since I moved in, and they basically now just lead to the furnace, which is right behind them. The furnace originally was over here, kind of near where the cart and those totes are, and I had them move it backwards, straight back into this area to give me more room in the common area. Also, in this area where these totes were was 2 water heaters. They had 2 water heaters. And now I moved in, I signed for the house November 3rd last year. And the water heaters were new in 1993. So they were already 23 years old. And so like that's usually a water heater is about a 20-year gap. There were 2 of them. And so I'm like, okay, but I replaced both of them with an inline water heater. So we don't have tanks anymore for the water heating, and that is going to be over there. We'll see that later. We're going to go this way first. Now you'll see here initially, I've got just some storage totes here on the floor. I haven't moved those yet. These green totes over here are loose Lego, and you can hear the echo down here now. I got some more storage over here. I picked these up at a thrift store. You probably perhaps saw it in a video. I don't know if I had it in a video or not. There's just a thing of garbage down here. Some more loose Lego that's over here. And then over here is one of the 2 sump pumps that I actually have in the house. This is in the front of the house. This one actually runs quite a lot when it rains a lot because we've got drainage that comes in from the sides from other locations. That's how they generally do these, I guess. And then it pumps it out. So I'm kind of happy that seems to be working. These boxes here are actually empty. I just haven't moved them yet. I have a mini fridge down here ready to go once I get more set up and whatnot. And then this huge wall of larger drawer units. There's 2 different styles here. There's this style, the Egress. There are these rolling cart things that I got from Joann. There's a slip right in there still from Joann. I love these things. They come in a stack of 6 drawers, I believe it is. But the nice thing with these, with the Egress ones, is you can get in and you can pop these tops off and then take another unit and click it right in at on the top. So you can have an entire vertical run of them and not have them resting loosely on the tops of each other like they are like this. Like right there, I could just slide them off. But once I take this lid off down here and then click this one right into place on top, that eliminates that. So you can have just an entire vertical stack of them. You don't save a lot of space necessarily doing that because it's just the thickness of this you're saving. But it is possible that maybe you could get one more unit in somewhere, whereas, you were like, geez, I could get 5 drawers. The other thing that's nice too is you can actually separate them by drawer. So if I have a place where like the top unit doesn't fit, but I could fit 5 drawers in, I can actually click off one entire drawer and then put a top on that, and then I'll be good to go. Then there's these. These are these little Sterlite units that just are 3 drawers. I think you can get them at Walmart, or could at one point. There's a couple of different styles available. This style has the solid side. I've been buying these used for quite a while, and some of these came from quite a distance when I moved, and that's why the drawers are taped in place. But I've been buying more of them as I see them, and I probably will use those, but we'll see. I mean, I don't pay a lot for them, like $3 or something like that. And then also you'll notice we've got this big wooden thing here. This is a desktop that my dad had made for me. And it basically, the original part of that desktop, oh no, this is the wrong one. This is a different one. This is, I think, maybe the one he made my brother. I can't remember. But yeah, it's basically he just took an old piece of wood and added to the back of it to make it a little longer, and then added this nice rounded front edge to it. And I kind of like that. I'll probably use that as part of the desk down here. Over here, you just see I've got some wire shelving units here. These all came out of the garage after some stuff moved out of the garage, but also just reorganization in the garage to make room for when they replace the garage door. I actually have a fireplace down here, and I've been told I can actually use it. There is a fireplace above it. Now, you'll notice that that fireplace is not particularly deep. But if you look over here, it's hard to tell, all these drawer units are on top of, or against the fireplace chimney area. So that's very much wider than this one is here, but that's because over in this area, further down through here, upstairs, there's another fireplace. Now that one's been converted to a gas fireplace. Originally they were like, oh, well, you can't run, can't have a fire down here because they figured it would use things the same flue. Apparently it's not. There's actually a separate flue. So I could actually use it as a fireplace if I wanted to, but since I'm gonna have the Lego down here, I probably will not use it as a fireplace. I don't want to have a smoky or burning or woody smell seeping into any of the Lego. We're gonna go around this way. We're circling around the other side of the chimney area. And this area is currently where I'm staging the sorted bags of Lego. Each of these totes has a couple of different categories in them at the moment, and this will expand to one category per tote once I have enough. But you'll see over here in the first tote, I've got 1x bricks and then 2x bricks. And over here I've got 1x plate and 2x plate. And then over here I've got modified plate and modified bricks. And then down here I've got larger than 2x plate plus round. So this one is actually shifted to be further over there. And then round. And then through here I've got, I believe that's slopes and wedges down through here. Slopes and wedges. Here I've got printed pieces and stickered pieces and perhaps transportation pieces. I'm not sure, there might be a separate non-stickered transportation spot. This entire one is just Technic. That's going to be a nightmare to further sort because there's so much in there. Down here we've got larger brick that is basically either taller than 1 brick high or wider in one dimension than 2 bricks. Then I've got minifigures and other related things, animals and animal parts. They go in there. In here I've got what looks like snot and tile. And then over here I've got, here's the regular transportation. There's no stickers. And then also we've got windows and doors and things like that, and then some wheels down through here. Now wheels and transportation might be mixed. So that's kind of where I'm staging that at the moment, and that'll expand. I believe that the back row is sitting on more loose Lego. I think those totes are probably full of loose Lego. Over here, this is the back side of the room that has the furnace in it. It also has the main electrical panel. There is a second electrical panel that's up near the office. And so this area is just kind of, it's going to be general house storage, I think. But they do need to get in here at some point, and it's part of the original perimeter of the basement, which will need to get jackhammered to deal with the drainage issue that we need to do. There is these bifold doors that close. These are salvaged from another area in the basement and reused. This door here was also salvaged from a spot in the basement and reused. It is cut a little shorter because it had to clear these pipes up here. but that's fine. And then they put a piece of wood at the top of the doorway so that it's not like it's open up there, because this is it's just a half bath that I had put in down here so that I didn't have to go all the way upstairs to go to the bathroom once I'm down here a lot. So that's just a very simplistic thing. Over here, you'll see this is the washing machine, which is going to be the Lego washing machine. And then the set tub beside it, which they very nicely built a riser for. I hadn't even been thinking about this. I was just thinking something on the floor, and they're like, well, we built a riser. So basically now when I pull the Lego out of the washing machine and move it over, I don't have to go down as far to put it in the set tub, which I thought was good. I do have a fan that vents outside here that I had to turn on with a switch over here on the wall. Right there, like that. That's basically right above the set tub. You can see it up there. And then I'm considering I would actually put maybe a couple of fans in here as well to help move the air out. This is also where the second sump pump is. This sump pump does not do much, and that's partially because it is surrounded by this square of cement that is a little higher than everything around it. So every time I have water in the basement, it generally doesn't go in here, which would be really annoying, which is partially why we're getting things fixed. This is the inline water heater here. And then just more storage down here. We'll probably clean a lot of this up at some point. We got some scrap wood that's good wood and different things like that down here. And then another door that goes back out into this area. So you see the metal shelving over here. I have a dehumidifier currently running. It will be going to be replaced with a much larger unit, much more efficient unit. And then you'll see more totes of Lego all along this wall. They will have to move eventually to get the wall shored up in there, because this wall in here is bowing in a little bit. So we're going to get that shored up so it doesn't cause any problems in the future. And then currently this is where the parts storage is going to go. Now this is the end of it. It's just what you see first. And we've got these units on the walls over here. This is all shelving here in two sections. I may need to put in some supports right here, but further up, because these shelves it's a longer span, and I'm thinking that it might not be as sturdy as I'm hoping it would be. Now back here, this section here also already has drawer units that were on it. They've been pulled off because, again, this wall and this wall are original perimeter to the basement, so they need access to those to jackhammer around that perimeter and then do their draining thing to solve the drainage problem in the basement. I have contacted the company, and I do need to have all these shelves removed. Now, the nice thing is there's no actual back to this. It's just a wall, but the shelves and the supports need to be removed through all of this. But I did find out that these wooden slats can stay. They are not in the way, so that's good, and we can get that stuff taken care of. And at some point, we will come in and get that work taken care of. Now, so we have two floater units here. So there's this one here and then this one over here. And they basically are set up for parts. So you can see all the Akr-mils ready to go. I changed at one point how I had them set up, because I have now one small unit here, a combo unit, and two large units. And then that's the same setup here. One small, a combo, and two large. And then over here, we're doing it the opposite way. It's two small, a combo, and a large. And that was basically because I thought I was going to need differing types of storage for different types of pieces, new and used. Because my thought is I'm going to keep the new and used separate by probably sides, but it might end up being just columns eventually if I end up having, you know, I go through the new and I don't have more new to add, and I still have more used. I might just, we'll see how it goes. I have so much of both that it's not even funny, and it's going to be almost impossible to plan ahead. Coming down this row here, there is a small staircase here. And this small staircase will need to get removed, and that's not going to be a problem, to get that work done. But that leads to this door here, and this door leads to what I'm referring to as the crouch space. Now, I do have a crawl space on the other side of the house. It's accessed almost impossibly through the where the furnace and the electrical panel were. No human could fit in there at this point, and I have some plans on trying to make that so there is access, because above there I do actually have a half bathroom upstairs. My laundry is upstairs above that area, so if I ever have like a plumbing issue, I don't really know how it's going to get dealt with. So I have a plan for that. But this is the crouch space. This is down underneath the master bedroom. This was an addition made to the house, hence why it's not part of the original foundation. And right now, there's a bunch of storage in here. Now, on this side over here, I have a friend storing some stuff. I have plenty of room, so it's not a problem for that. And then over here, these drawer units are the drawer units that just came off that wall because we had to remove all that stuff. And then over here, we've got more empty storage type things, Lego related things. I've got some Lego purchases down through here that I'm keeping them separate because I know, like these totes right here, this came from one purchase from one person. And I know for a fact I won't need to clean these pieces. They do need to get sorted. I mean, they're mixed, but I won't need to wash them. So I can skip the wash phase on those. And there's just all sorts of things. Like down here, those little totes right there, those are full of the Akr-mils dividers, because what I did is I went through and I pulled all the dividers from the back of the drawer units before they were mounted because you wouldn't be able to get to them. Then if we come around this side, I have to be really careful to make sure I'm staying crouched. And because of the way the stuff is piled up, the light is blocked. But down here, I've got piles of additional Akr-mils drawer units in boxes, although there are some empty boxes down there as well. I kept some empty boxes. There's actually a stack of them right here, you can see. And so between these down here and the ones I just ordered, I have enough so that when I go to my next floater unit out here, because you could see I've got one there and then one over here, same ones, I can build a third one, and I already have enough drawer units. The only exception is I only think I have one or two of these combo units. And I may get to the point where I decide I need much more of the small ones and cancel the combo and make it all small. Or oppositely, I might need much more of the larger ones and cancel the combo and make it another large. It's to be seen. I'm not sure how that's going to happen yet. But that is that area. And that pretty much is a tour of the basement. We did have the ceilings painted black, which I think looks really sharp. The original idea I had a long time ago was a drop ceiling. But I think this is much easier. It was pointed out to me too that like if I have an electrical or plumbing problem, I have to remove drop ceiling to get to it. This way it's just painted and just stuff hides. And it just you can't see it as well. And it all blends in. And like what we did here for these storage unit fixtures is at the very top, you'll see we painted that section black. Now it's the same piece right here, just going up, but then after it hits this point, it turns black. And we also painted the insides black down here, but we did keep the outside white and then over here white. So the outside edge and then this edge here, but the inside we painted black. It hides this support beam here, and it doesn't obstruct my using that for storage. My thought is either going to be pick-a-brick cups with pieces or totes with pieces or a combination. And then down here, this kind of like cubby down here, this actually goes all the way through to the other side, which is really nice. And that will be totes or perhaps, pick-a-brick cups, just a different storage solutions down there for quantities of things. So that is the general plan for all that. At one point, and some people may remember this, in this area, in behind the wall, there's actually a window. That window, however, leads to underneath a deck upstairs. And my original thought was in this spot, I would put an egress window and then we'd put a hatch in the deck. Well, my guys were on board with that. That's not a problem. But then, they got to thinking about it and they said, it's probably going to be more work to put that hatch in and all this. Their suggestion was, and we'll go back over here, is that through this door, straight ahead pretty much, is a window. You can see it even with the light off. And their thought is to putting the egress hatch there because it would be much easier. It's going to be almost straight out. You wouldn't really have to climb up to get out because you've already got the stairs here getting you up a couple of levels. And then just come out that way. So I think that's going to be a much better idea for that. And yeah, so I mean, I can't think of anything else that's down here that really needs to be shown. I've covered everything. We're going to have filling up these middle areas at some point. Like you can kind of see here when I start to move additional totes down here before that work around the perimeter happens, because along this whole perimeter here is where some of that work is going to happen. I'm going to have to fill up the middles with the additional totes that are upstairs. I need to get them out of upstairs. They're coming down here eventually. They need to come down. I need the space upstairs. And I will also mention this little door is just really weird in the middle of the room area. It's just basically going around the water meter, which they don't even need to come inside to read anymore. I guess there's a electronic way. They just come by near the house and they read the meter, but it still sits there in the way. So my video got cut off, so it just sits there in the way along this wall. I had to go watch the end part of my video to see where it cut off. But basically that was pretty much near the end, which is why I had to check to see what I needed to talk about. The only thing I basically said is please comment, make questions down below, and then I went on to say that I'm having a little bit of difficulty keeping up with the comments coming in. There are a little bit more of them now. And I'm getting other notifications, just busier in general. And so I had been looking at the number of comments. And so whenever I saw an odd number of comments, I'd know that somebody had said something I hadn't replied to. But then sometimes it's like, there's been a back and forth and it was like, oh, well, I don't really have anything to say back to what they said. So I don't really say anything. So sometimes I let it go. But now I've also noticed a couple of cases where it says there's 6 comments. I don't remember there being 6 comments, and then I go in and look, and like, yeah, there's 4 that I replied to, or 2 that I replied to, and then they replied back both, and I never saw those replies. So be aware, and I do mention this in the details of each of the videos, that I may not realize that you've made a reply comment all the time. So if I seem to ignore something, it's not intentional. It's just the volume is starting to increase a little bit, and it's getting a little more difficult. But anyway, thank you very much. It's a long-winded video, and it's been a while coming. Thank you very much.